Craptop Gaming Part 1. Introduction. The non-equipment I use to make these videos. The machine I'm calling a Craptop, which is actually quite a nice machine, really. It's a cheap laptop. And controller non-issues with AntiMicro, including a demonstration of the worst case scenario. As far as the non-equipment used to make these videos, I use a simple screen recorder. It's just a built-in laptop mic, and I use a combination of trial and error and these levels here on the preview to try to get good clean sound that's not too quiet, not too, someone mentioned that the sound was really clear on one of my videos, and it's just this laptop mic and very careful manipulation of the level on this laptop microphone, and hopefully it's not too loud on this video. If it is, I'm probably not going to fix it. So I'm just simple screen recorder and the built-in laptop mic. The operating system is Xubuntu 1804. It's basically the stock XFCE4 desktop environment here. I've got added this action button. I've got a dark theme going on, and this top bar set to intelligently hide. And and now let's go ahead and look at the machine, and that I'm calling a Craptop. And I've got a utility here called Hardinfo. It shows up in your menu, a system profiler and benchmark. And you'll see for the CPU, I've got a 3825U. 2 cores, 4 threads. So basically this thing's not even an i3. The little bit of research I did do on this processor, it's basically, the short answer is it's basically on par with an i3. The i3 is a little bit better at graphics. So we've got not even an i3, but it is a dual core with 4 threads. Ubuntu, and for our display here, I do have Proton Prereqs installed for Steam Proton, so I am still on the Padoka PPA. The PPA they're pointing to people now is changed, but I'm running Mesa 18.3, so they're much more advanced than the stock Ubuntu drivers. Let's just put it that way. As far as my display drivers, because I am set up for Proton, so there's the machine, and we got 8 gigs of RAM. It's a Dell Latitude 3460, and for what I got it for, it's a wonderful machine. I got it for something to carry around and read PDFs and be portable, and it's a wonderful machine. And I wasn't expecting to play games on it, but it actually does quite well. Okay, now we're going to talk about game controller non-issues. And I'm not online right now, so I'm going to use screenshots. And I'm going to show you this program here in a second and demonstrate it. There's this wonderful little program called AntiMicro, and I will provide the link to this page that I'm showing here in the description. And if you scroll down, you'll see that we have packages for, well, we stop at Artful. We don't have a Bionic package. In my case, I'm using the Artful package, and if you click on this, it drops down. If you're still running Ubuntu 16.04, there's your Xenial package. You're good to go. I'm on Bionic. There's no more newer package than Artful. Well, what I did is I just downloaded this Artful AMD64.deb package, and it's working for me just fine in Bionic. You can try to build this. You can try to build it from source, but I was trying to avoid that, and this worked for me. Is the Artful package, and of course you have to have GDeb installed to install this deb. People are also reporting on GitHub that the Zesty package is also working in Bionic. So that's a minor issue. You don't have to, and as I say, you don't have to add this whole PPA. You can just come down here and click on here and grab this deb file, or whichever one you need. If you're running, whatever you're running. But like I said, on Bionic, there's not a Bionic package available. And to avoid building it for source, I tried the Artful package. The Artful package is working just fine for me in Bionic, and according to reports, Zesty is supposedly working fine in Bionic. Also, Xenial does not work in Bionic. I do know that. I know that from personal experience. And use GDebi to install it, or go ahead and add the PPA if you want, but you don't have to do that. And what AntiMicro does is, AntiMicro is a wonderful thing. That's this little icon here. And I'm just going to demonstrate. Let's go here. I'm going to demonstrate it with KOTOR because it's the worst case scenario. There is absolutely no controller support for KOTOR in Proton whatsoever, and so basically I've set the mouse, the right stick up is to move the mouse, the left stick's WSAD, and I've told it what left mouse button and right mouse button is, my left and right triggers, and so basically, I've set up this controller for KOTOR for a game that has no controller support. And so we'll pull up Steam, and another thing I'm going to show, so we'll bring up the library, is on this game. Go right click on it and go here to Properties, and I have to uncheck this box. If I leave this checked, this has to be unchecked. If this is checked, this game crashes on me. So whatever game controller support the Steam overlay might have supported is gone, which is actually a good thing, because I prefer to set up the controller with AntiMicro, and it's not usually an Xbox controller that I use when I use a game controller, but I figure that's what most of you are going to use, an Xbox controller or something similar, and so I'm showing it with that. And it's real simple. If I just sit here and click on my right stick, you'll see there's presets, and I can come down here and drop this down, and there's all kinds of, right? And like to set this left stick up for WSAD, I didn't even have to, it's just, there's already a preset for it. So AntiMicro is a wonderful little program. And so we come here and we hit Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, which is the worst case scenario for game controller support. So it's the worst case scenario where AntiMicro is going to save us. And I've got another video showing this in widescreen and blah 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 with mods running on an i5. In this case, I've not done nothing to it, and so the movies show up by 18 by 600 up here in the corner, and the screen size I'm running in the game is actually 1024 by 768, and the laptop's 1366 by 768. So it's good. It's not widescreen. And see, there we go. I'm moving the mouse. I'm doing this with the game controller, and let's just go ahead, and since this is just a demonstration load game, yeah, I'll load that quick save. and I'm using the left stick here for WSAD, and I've got the bumper set up for strafing, and there we go, a game with no game controller support whatsoever through AntiMicro. I've got B set here for pause. This button's escape. I've got, so boom. AntiMicro. Game controller, non-issues with AntiMicro. And, it just happens that KOTOR runs quite nicely. Whoops. On this laptop as well. This is not the i5 laptop I did the other KOTOR videos on. And this one is just stock KOTOR. There's no widescreen fix and there's no mods. And we got ourselves controller support. I've got X set to change as tab to change characters.
What?
What did I do with that button? Oh, party inventory is Y. So there we go. AntiMicro to the rescue. Game controller support, non-issues. And there will be many, many times in this series where alright, so that was all done with the controller. I'm going to go ahead and go back to the touchpad now. That was Craptop Gaming Part 1. Mostly about game controller non-issues with AntiMicro. Stay tuned for Part 2. Craptop Gaming.